Do you want to make someone miss you so intensely that they can't get you out of their mind? Maybe it's someone who's walked away, someone who's taken you for granted, or someone you simply want to leave a lasting impression on. Here's the truth: you don't need to chase them. You don't need to beg for their attention or waste your energy trying to force them to see your worth. Instead, you can make them feel your absence so profoundly that they'll wonder why they ever let you go. But how? The answer lies in a powerful combination of Stoic philosophy and dark psychology. These aren't petty games or manipulative tricks. These are deep psychological principles rooted in human behavior. When you apply them correctly, they don't just make someone miss you, they make them crave your presence. And the best part? You do it all without sacrificing your dignity or self-respect. Let me make something clear. This isn't about trying to control or manipulate someone else. It's about mastering yourself. It's about creating a version of yourself that is so valuable, so compelling, and so emotionally magnetic that your absence becomes impossible to ignore. This is what Stoic philosophy teaches us: to focus on our inner world, to strengthen our character, and to let the world be drawn to our light, not the other way around. And when you combine this inner strength with the strategic precision of dark psychology, understanding how human emotions and attention really work, you become unforgettable. You leave a mark on their mind, a presence so profound that even when you're gone, they feel you. They miss you. They start to see your worth in ways they never did before. Imagine that for a moment. Imagine stepping back, focusing on yourself, and watching as the person who overlooked you starts to notice your absence. As they replay your words, your energy, your presence, and realize there's nothing else quite like it. That's the power of these 12 dark psychological tricks grounded in Stoic wisdom. But before we dive into these transformative principles, I want you to make a commitment. A commitment not just to learn these tools, but to use them wisely, with respect for yourself and others. If you're ready to become the kind of person who is truly unforgettable, take the first step now. Like this video and comment the phrase, "I am unforgettable." Write it, say it, claim it. Because by the end of this journey, that's exactly what you'll be. Now let's start by understanding why people miss others and how you can trigger that longing in ways they can't ignore. Why do people miss others? What is it about someone's absence that leaves an emotional void? To understand how to make someone miss you, you first need to understand the psychology of longing and attachment. Here's the key. People don't miss you because of who you are. They miss you because of how you made them feel. Think about it. Missing someone is never just about their physical presence. It's about the emotional experience they created, the moments of laughter, the unique connection, the energy you brought into their life. When you're gone, it's those experiences that linger in their mind, creating a sense of loss. They replay the way you made them feel, safe, excited, valued, or even challenged. And they start to crave that feeling again. This is where dark psychology meets Stoicism. Dark psychology teaches us to understand the triggers that make people emotionally invested. Meanwhile, Stoicism reminds us to be deliberate in the impression we leave on others. The Stoics believed in intentionality, choosing your actions and words carefully, not for manipulation, but for mastery. When you combine these two perspectives, you can create an emotional imprint so powerful that your absence becomes unforgettable. But here's an important lesson from Stoic philosophy. You can't force someone to miss you. That's beyond your control. What you can control is the value you bring when you're present and the void you leave when you're absent. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Translated into this context, don't beg for their attention. Become the kind of person whose presence leaves an undeniable impact. Psychologically, people miss what's scarce. The more available you are, the more they take you for granted. The less they see of you, the more they start to realize what they've lost. This is the principle of scarcity, and it's one of the most powerful forces in human emotion. By stepping back, by creating space, you give them the opportunity to feel your absence, and that's when the longing begins. So, why do people miss others? It's not just about you, it's about the experiences, the energy, and the feelings you represent. If you want to make someone miss you, start by becoming deliberate in how you make them feel. Start by creating moments so meaningful that they become irreplaceable in their mind. If this resonates with you and you're ready to learn the first dark psychological trick to make them miss you, let me know you're committed. Like this video and comment the phrase, "I leave an unforgettable mark." Claim it now, because this is your first step in mastering the art of leaving a lasting impression. Now, let's move to the first trick. Number 1, the power of absence. Let's start with one of the most powerful psychological principles. Absence creates desire. It sounds simple, but it's one of the most misunderstood concepts in human relationships. When you're always available, when someone knows they can have your time, attention, or presence whenever they want, they start to take you for granted. You become predictable, expected, and over time, less valued. But when you pull back, when your presence becomes scarce, something fascinating happens. The human mind begins to crave what it can't have. The space you leave behind becomes a void they can't ignore. It triggers curiosity, nostalgia, and most importantly, desire. This is the principle of scarcity, and it's one of the cornerstones of dark psychology. The Stoics understood this long before psychology had a name for it. Epictetus said, "If you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters." In other words, don't always make yourself the center of attention. Let your absence speak louder than your presence. When you withdraw strategically, people begin to notice your value because it's no longer readily available. But let me be clear, absence doesn't mean ghosting or playing childish games. It's about stepping back with purpose. It's about creating space. Not to punish them, but to give them the opportunity to reflect on what your presence brought to their life. And here's the beauty of this trick. It doesn't just make them miss you, it helps you regain your focus, your power, and your control. Here's how to use the power of absence effectively. Withdraw strategically. If you've been overly available, always replying immediately, always saying yes, always being there, it's time to pause. Take a step back and let them wonder where you are. Don't make excuses and don't over-explain. Just allow your absence to speak for itself. Create mystery. When you're absent, don't broadcast your every move. Leave room for curiosity. Let them wonder what you're doing and who you're doing it with. Mystery amplifies the feeling of longing. Focus on yourself. While you're absent, use the time to grow, evolve, and elevate yourself. Absence is only powerful if you're someone worth missing. Work on becoming that person. Resist the urge to check in. This is the hardest part. When you pull back, the instinct to check their reaction can be overwhelming. Don't give in. Silence is louder than words. Here's the truth. People don't notice what's always in front of them. They notice what's gone. When you master the power of absence, you give them the gift of missing you. And as that longing grows, so does their appreciation for what you bring into their life. If you're ready to claim this power, do it now. Like this video and comment the phrase, "My absence is my power." Write it, own it. Because when you use absence intentionally, you don't just create longing, you create value. Number 2, unpredictability. The second dark psychological trick to make someone miss you is one of the most fascinating and effective tools in human behavior: unpredictability. People are naturally drawn to what they can't figure out. When someone becomes predictable, they stop being exciting. But when you're unpredictable, you create intrigue, curiosity, and even a little obsession. Think about it. What do most people do when they want someone to notice them? They go out of their way to be consistent, reliable, and available. While those qualities are important in certain relationships, they can also make you, well, boring. When someone always knows exactly how you'll act, they stop paying attention. But when you introduce a sense of unpredictability, they can't help but think about you. You occupy their mind because they're trying to figure you out. This principle is deeply rooted in psychology. The human brain craves patterns. It's wired to predict outcomes. When you disrupt those patterns, you become impossible to ignore. But here's where Stoicism comes in. The Stoics believed in moderation and balance, and that applies here too. Unpredictability isn't about being erratic or reckless. It's about keeping people on their toes in a way that's deliberate and controlled. Here's how you can use unpredictability to make someone miss you. Vary your responses. If you always reply to their messages immediately, try taking your time. If you're usually available on weekends, make plans without them once in a while. Break the routine. Be less predictable in your interactions. One day, you might be warm and engaging. The next, you're a little more reserved. This isn't about playing games. It's about showing different sides of your personality. Do something unexpected. If they think they know you well, surprise them. Pick up a new hobby, post about something you've never shared before, or show up looking different. Keep them guessing. Control the narrative. When they start wondering what's going on with you, don't explain everything. Let them fill in the blanks. Their curiosity will work in your favor. Unpredictability works because it keeps people emotionally engaged. When they don't know what to expect, they start thinking about you constantly, trying to piece together the puzzle. That mental effort creates a bond, even if they don't realize it. But here's the key. This isn't about manipulation. It's about creating space for mystery, and mystery is magnetic. Marcus Aurelius said, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." In other words, live fully, live boldly, and let your life speak for itself. When you live authentically and unpredictably, people can't help but be drawn to you. If this resonates with you and you're ready to embrace the power of unpredictability, claim it now. Like this video and comment the phrase, "I am the mystery they crave." Write it, feel it. Because when you master this principle, you don't just make them miss you, you make them fascinated by you. Number 3. Controlled mystery. The third dark psychological trick to make someone miss you is all about controlled mystery. Let me explain. People are naturally drawn to what they don't fully understand. When you reveal too much about yourself, when you lay all your cards on the table, you become an open book, easy to read, easy to put down. But when you maintain an air of mystery, you create a sense of intrigue that keeps them coming back for more. Controlled mystery is not about being secretive or deceptive. It's about intentionally choosing what to share and what to hold back. It's about letting people see enough to pique their interest, but never so much that they feel like they've figured you out. The less they know, the more they want to know, and the more they want to know, the more they think about you. Here's why this works psychologically. Humans have a deep need for closure. When something feels unfinished or unknown, it occupies the mind. It's the same reason a cliffhanger in a movie or book makes you want to keep watching or reading. When you leave someone with questions about you, about your thoughts, your feelings, your life, they can't help but keep you in their mental spotlight. The Stoics were masters of this kind of restraint. They believed in speaking and acting with purpose, revealing only what was necessary and never more than needed. Seneca wrote, "It is quality rather than quantity that matters." This applies not just to your actions, but to the information you share. Be intentional, speak less, but make every word count. Here's how to practice controlled mystery. Be selective with what you share. The next time someone asks about your plans, your feelings, or your life, resist the urge to overshare. Give them just enough to keep them interested, but hold back enough to leave them curious. Master the art of subtlety. When you talk about your accomplishments, your goals, or your passions, hint at them without fully explaining. For example, instead of saying, "I've been working on this specific project," say, "I've been diving into something exciting lately." Let them wonder. Let your actions speak. Sometimes the most intriguing thing you can do is to simply live your life boldly and authentically without explaining every move. Let them see glimpses of your growth and evolution, and let their curiosity fill in the blanks. Be unpredictable in your communication. Don't respond to every message with full explanations or answers. Sometimes let your reply be brief, thoughtful, or even playful. Keep them guessing. Controlled mystery works because it creates a sense of scarcity, not in your presence, but in the information you share. When someone feels like they don't fully understand you, their mind fixates on you, trying to piece together the puzzle. They'll think about you more, wonder about your life, and miss the parts of you they can't grasp. If you're ready to embody this principle, claim it now. Like this video and comment the phrase, "I am the mystery they can't solve." Write it, own it, because when you live with controlled mystery, you become unforgettable. Not by what you say, but by what you don't say. Number 4, emotional echoes. The fourth dark psychological trick to make someone miss you is about creating emotional echoes. What does this mean? It's about leaving a lasting emotional imprint on someone's mind, something so vivid and memorable that they keep replaying it long after you've gone. Emotional echoes are like ripples in water. Even when you're no longer there, the effects of your presence linger. Here's the secret. People don't remember everything you say or do, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. Whether it's joy, excitement, curiosity, or even a moment of intense connection, those feelings stay with them, forming the foundation of what they miss when you're not around. This concept is deeply rooted in psychology. Emotional experiences activate parts of the brain that are linked to memory and attachment. When you create powerful emotional moments, you become unforgettable because you've tied yourself to those feelings. And here's the Stoic twist. Creating emotional echoes isn't about manipulation. It's about being intentional in how you interact with others. The Stoics believed in living with purpose, ensuring that every interaction leaves a positive and meaningful mark. So, how do you create emotional echoes that make someone miss you? Make your moments unique. Ordinary interactions don't leave emotional echoes. Unique, meaningful ones do. Instead of just having small talk, share a moment of genuine laughter, teach them something new, or introduce them to an experience they've never had before. Engage their emotions deeply. To create an emotional echo, you need to connect on a deeper level. This could mean sharing a story that moves them, asking thought-provoking questions, or being fully present and engaged when you're with them. Authenticity is key. Be memorable in subtle ways. It's not always about grand gestures. Sometimes it's the little things, your unique perspective, a kind word at the right moment, or even a distinct habit or saying that sticks in their mind. Leave on a high note. One of the most powerful ways to create an emotional echo is to leave when the energy is high. People remember the last moments of an interaction most vividly. If you end an encounter on a positive, uplifting note, that's the feeling they'll carry with them. Create shared meaning. When you share a deep or meaningful moment with someone, you create a memory they associate with you. This could be something as simple as a private joke, a unique phrase, or a shared perspective that's yours alone. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Similarly, the emotions you evoke in someone's soul are the ones they'll associate with you. When you focus on creating uplifting, exciting, or profound moments, you become more than just a memory. You become a feeling they crave. If this resonates with you, let's make it real. Like this video and comment the phrase, "I leave a lasting impression." Say it, write it, feel it. Because when you master the art of creating emotional echoes, you don't just make them miss you, you make them feel you long after you're gone. Number 5. The contrast principle. The fifth dark psychological trick to make someone miss you is rooted in one of the most powerful forces in human emotion, the contrast principle. This principle works because humans understand value not in isolation, but through comparison. If you want someone to miss you, you need to create contrasts, moments of connection so vibrant that their absence feels dull by comparison. Here's how it works. When you're always available, always consistent, and always predictable, your presence becomes part of the background noise of someone's life. But when you introduce highs and lows, moments of intense connection followed by purposeful withdrawal, you create a dynamic that they can't ignore. They start to notice when you're gone because they've felt the difference when you were there. Think about it. When do people appreciate the sun the most? After a storm. When do they savor quiet? After noise. The contrast principle taps into this same psychology. By making your presence deeply meaningful and your absence noticeable, you amplify your impact on someone's mind. The Stoics understood the power of contrast in life. They believed that pleasure and pain, joy and sorrow, presence and absence all work together to help us understand and appreciate the highs of life. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight." By strategically using change, you make your presence unforgettable. Here's how to apply the contrast principle. Create high-impact moments. When you're with someone, be fully present. Make those moments meaningful, engaging, and memorable. The more powerful your presence, the more noticeable your absence becomes. Pull back deliberately. After a deep connection, step back. Don't always be available. This withdrawal creates space for them to feel the contrast and to start missing you. Vary the intensity of your interactions. Some days, be deeply connected and engaging. Other times, be a little more reserved. The shift in energy creates intrigue and keeps them emotionally engaged. Surprise them. Introducing unexpected gestures or changes in your behavior also creates contrast. For example, if you're usually casual, show up with depth and vulnerability. If you're often reserved, surprise them with excitement and spontaneity. Leave when the energy is high. One of the most powerful applications of contrast is to exit while the connection is at its peak. When you leave someone wanting more, they'll feel the void in your absence more intensely. The contrast principle works because it taps into the emotional highs and lows that define human experience. By creating moments of intense connection, followed by intentional distance, you occupy a larger space in their thoughts. They don't just notice when you're gone, they feel it. If you're ready to master this principle, declare it now. Like this video and comment the phrase, "I create contrast. I create value." Claim it, because when you understand the power of contrast, you don't just make them miss you, you make them crave the energy you bring. Number 6. Indifference as power. The sixth dark psychological trick to make someone miss you is deceptively simple yet profoundly powerful: indifference. Indifference is the ultimate display of emotional control. When you master it, you signal to others that you're not desperate for their attention, validation, or approval, and that's exactly what makes them crave it. Here's the psychological twist. People want what they can't have. When you show indifference, you subtly communicate that your happiness, your worth, and your peace don't depend on their presence. This creates a dynamic of curiosity and desire. They start to think, why aren't they chasing me? Why don't they need me? That mental tension is what makes your absence impossible to ignore. But let's be clear, indifference isn't about being cold or rude. It's about controlling your emotions and refusing to overinvest in people who don't reciprocate your energy. The Stoics taught that emotional detachment, what they called apatheia, is a sign of strength. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." And other people's feelings about you, they're beyond your control. Here's how to use the power of indifference. Don't chase. Stop initiating contact with someone who's pulling away. When you refrain from chasing, you shift the dynamic. They start to notice your absence because you're no longer feeding their ego. Keep your emotions in check. If they try to provoke a reaction, whether it's through games, mixed signals, or even outright manipulation, don't bite. Your calmness will speak louder than any words. Focus on your own value. When you show indifference, it's because you genuinely recognize your worth. Spend your time growing, improving, and focusing on what brings you peace. That energy is magnetic. Be unbothered by their actions. When you demonstrate that their behavior doesn't affect your emotional state, they begin to question their own power over you. This lack of reaction is incredibly powerful. Withdraw. Without explanation. When you step back, don't announce it or justify it. Your silence creates intrigue. They'll start to wonder why your attention is elsewhere and how they can get it back. Indifference works because it flips the emotional script. Instead of giving someone the satisfaction of knowing they're on your mind, you make them wonder if they're on yours. And when people sense they're losing your attention, they begin to crave it. It's human nature. But here's the deeper lesson from Stoicism. Indifference isn't just a strategy, it's a mindset. It's about valuing your own peace above the opinions of others. When you stop caring about things that don't serve your growth, you become untouchable and undeniably attractive. If you're ready to embrace the power of indifference, claim it now. Like this video and comment the phrase, "I am unbothered and unstoppable." Let it be your mantra, because when you master indifference, you don't just make them miss you, you reclaim your own power. Number 7. Anchoring positive memories. The 7th dark psychological trick to make someone miss you is about creating anchors of positive memories. What does this mean? It's about deliberately creating moments with someone that are so enjoyable, uplifting, or emotionally impactful that they can't stop thinking about them once you're gone. These memories become mental anchors, touch points they return to whenever they think of you. Here's the secret. People don't miss you because you're around all the time. They miss the way you made them feel in your presence. If you can create experiences that stand out, they'll associate those powerful feelings with you. And the more positive, rare, and unique those moments are, the harder it becomes for them to forget you. Psychologically, the brain is wired to replay emotional highs. Think about a song that brings back vivid memories, or a smell that instantly transports you to a specific time and place. Anchoring works the same way. It ties powerful emotions to specific moments, and when you're the source of those emotions, you become unforgettable. The Stoics, while deeply rooted in logic and reason, also understood the power of meaningful connections. Marcus Aurelius said, "What we do now echoes in eternity." The impact you leave on someone doesn't fade when you're absent. It grows as they replay those moments in their mind. Here's how to create positive memory anchors. Be fully present. When you're with someone, put away distractions. Focus entirely on them and the moment you're sharing. That level of attention is rare and unforgettable. Create unique experiences. Do something with them that's out of the ordinary. It doesn't have to be extravagant, just different. It could be as simple as a meaningful conversation at an unexpected time, or showing them something new about themselves. Infuse moments with emotion. Make them laugh, make them feel heard, or share a profound thought that stays with them. The stronger the emotion tied to the memory, the more deeply it will anchor. Leave them on a high note. People remember how they feel at the end of an experience. When you leave, make sure it's after a positive, uplifting interaction. That feeling will linger long after you're gone. Be authentic. Anchors only work if the moments are genuine. Don't try to force a connection. Just be yourself and let the memory form naturally through meaningful interaction. Here's why this works. Every time they recall those moments, they're reinforcing the emotional connection they have with you. It's like a loop. They think of you, they feel good, and that makes them think of you even more. But here's the catch. To anchor positive memories, you also have to create space. If you're always around, those memories don't have time to solidify. Step back after creating those high-impact moments and let the memory of you do the work. If this resonates with you, I want you to claim this power. Like this video and comment the phrase, "I leave an unforgettable mark." Write it, believe it, and let it guide your interactions. Because when you master the art of anchoring positive memories, you don't just make them miss you, you become someone they can't stop thinking about. Number 8. Strategic vulnerability. The 8th dark psychological trick to make someone miss you is one of the most counterintuitive and most powerful tools in your arsenal: strategic vulnerability. Here's why it works. People connect with authenticity. When you allow someone to see glimpses of your inner world, your fears, your dreams, your struggles, it creates a bond that's hard to break. But here's the twist. The key is to share just enough to make them feel closer to you without losing your emotional boundaries. Vulnerability doesn't mean spilling your deepest secrets or oversharing. That's not strength. That's giving too much away. Strategic vulnerability is about intentionally choosing what to share to create intimacy and trust while maintaining an air of self-respect and mystery. This creates a dynamic where they feel connected to you and start longing for that connection when you're not around. Here's the psychology behind it. When you share something personal, it activates a sense of reciprocity. They feel closer to you and, in turn, want to share something of their own. This back-and-forth exchange deepens the emotional connection, making them more invested in you, and when you're gone, they'll miss that level of closeness they don't have with anyone else. The Stoics understood vulnerability in a different way. They taught us to face our flaws, fears, and imperfections with courage and honesty. Seneca said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." Strategic vulnerability allows you to live in the moment and connect authentically while maintaining control over how much of yourself you reveal. Here's how to practice strategic vulnerability. Share selectively. Choose what you share carefully. For example, talk about a personal challenge you've overcome or a dream you're pursuing. Keep it meaningful, but not overly revealing. Highlight your strengths through your vulnerabilities. Frame your vulnerability in a way that shows resilience. For instance, instead of saying, "I failed at this," you could say, "I struggled with this, but here's how I overcame it." Invite them to open up. Sharing strategically creates a safe space for others to share as well. When they feel comfortable opening up to you, it deepens the bond even further. Don't overdo it. Vulnerability loses its power if it's constant. Use it sparingly and purposefully. This ensures it remains impactful and memorable. End on a positive note. Whenever you share something personal, bring it back to strength, growth, or hope. This leaves them with a sense of inspiration rather than heaviness. The beauty of strategic vulnerability is that it makes you real. It shows them a side of you that's unique, layered, and authentic. And because these moments are rare, they'll keep replaying them in their mind, especially in your absence. But here's the catch. Vulnerability works best when paired with strength. You're not seeking validation or approval. You're showing that you're human, yet powerful in your humanity. That balance is magnetic. If this resonates with you and you're ready to practice this principle, claim it now. Like this video and comment the phrase, "My vulnerability is my strength." Write it, own it, and let it guide you. Because when you master strategic vulnerability, you don't just make them miss you, you make them feel deeply connected to you. Number 9. Non-reactive confidence. The 9th dark psychological trick to make someone miss you is about mastering non-reactive confidence. This is one of the most powerful tools you can use, not just to make someone miss you, but to elevate how they see you entirely. Non-reactive confidence means you remain calm, composed, and unshaken, no matter what they do or don't do. It's the ultimate display of emotional strength. Here's the psychology behind it. People are naturally drawn to those who are unbothered by chaos. When you don't react emotionally to provocations, mixed signals, or even silence, you project a sense of control that is deeply attractive. They start to wonder why you're not reacting the way others do. This mystery makes them think about you more and crave your validation. Non-reactive confidence is also a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In other words, your confidence comes not from controlling others, but from mastering your own mind. When you embrace this, you stop seeking external approval and start radiating internal stability. Here's how to embody non-reactive confidence. Don't chase or overreact. If they pull away or test you emotionally, resist the urge to react impulsively. Your calmness communicates that their actions don't dictate your worth. Pause before responding. When faced with provocation or mixed signals, take a moment to breathe and reflect before you respond. This pause shows emotional discipline and keeps you in control. Hold your ground. If someone tries to provoke you, remain composed. When you refuse to rise to their bait, it subtly shifts the power dynamic in your favor. Focus on your own path. True confidence comes from knowing you're growing, improving, and thriving, regardless of their presence. When they see you thriving without them, they'll start to miss being part of your world. Don't over-explain yourself. If they question your actions or decisions, resist the urge to justify yourself excessively. Your confidence lies in knowing your choices speak for themselves. Non-reactive confidence works because it flips the typical emotional script. Instead of seeking validation or reacting to their behavior, you maintain control. This balance of calm and certainty makes you magnetic. People miss those who exude a sense of strength and security, especially in a world where most people are easily rattled. But here's the deeper truth. Non-reactive confidence isn't just about them. It's about you. It's about building a fortress within yourself that no one else can shake. And when you live this way, you don't just make people miss you. You become unforgettable. If this resonates with you, claim your confidence now. Like this video and comment the phrase, "My calm is my power." Write it, own it, and let it guide your every interaction. Because when you master non-reactive confidence, you don't just control how they see you, you control how you see yourself. Number 10. Subtle reminders. The 10th dark psychological trick to make someone miss you is all about subtle reminders. This isn't about texting them constantly or forcing your way back into their thoughts. It's about leaving small, intentional traces of your presence that quietly linger in their mind. These reminders aren't obvious. They're subtle, indirect, and incredibly effective at making someone think about you without realizing why. Here's the psychology behind it. The human brain is wired to associate objects, sounds, and even scents with memories. When you strategically place reminders of yourself in their life, you trigger those associations, reigniting the emotions connected to you. The best part, this works even when you're physically absent, creating a mental loop that keeps bringing their thoughts back to you. Stoicism teaches us to focus on the lasting impact of our actions. Seneca said, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." By carefully curating these subtle reminders, you create emotional echoes that keep your presence alive in their mind long after you've left. Here's how to use subtle reminders effectively. Leave a unique signature. This could be something as simple as a specific phrase, a favorite song, or even a particular scent. When they encounter it, it instantly reminds them of you. Be memorable in your interests. Share a passion, hobby, or thought-provoking idea that sticks with them. For example, if you introduce them to a unique book or film, they'll think of you every time they revisit it. Utilize social media sparingly. Instead of oversharing, post something intriguing, inspiring, or aligned with the moments you've shared together. Don't tag them or direct it toward them. It's about creating a presence without being obvious. Leave behind a token. If you were close, leaving a small, meaningful object, a handwritten note, a playlist, or even a shared inside joke, can create a lingering connection. It doesn't have to be material. It could be a memory tied to a specific place or moment. Be unpredictably present. Occasionally pop up in ways they don't expect, whether it's through mutual friends, a creative project they notice, or a casual mention of you in a shared space. These subtle appearances keep you relevant without seeming desperate. Subtle reminders work because they operate below the surface. They're not demanding attention, they're triggering memories. And those memories? They're powerful. Every time they encounter one of these reminders, they'll replay the emotions connected to you, strengthening their longing in your absence. But here's the Stoic lesson. Subtle reminders aren't about manipulation. They're about creating authentic connections that leave a lasting impact. You're not forcing them to think about you. You're giving them reasons to remember you naturally. If you're ready to master this principle, let's make it real. Like this video and comment the phrase, "I am unforgettable in subtle ways." Say it, believe it, and let it guide your presence. Because when you use subtle reminders intentionally, you don't just make them miss you, you become a part of their world even when you're not around. Number 11. Highlighting your absence. The 11th dark psychological trick to make someone miss you is one that most people overlook: highlighting your absence. When you're no longer present in someone's life, it's easy for them to get distracted by the noise of everyday events. Your absence becomes part of the background. But when you intentionally highlight the void you leave behind, you make your absence impossible to ignore. Here's why this works. People often don't realize what they have until it's gone. When you subtly draw attention to the gap your absence has created, they're forced to acknowledge what's missing. This isn't about being dramatic or overt. It's about showing through your actions how your presence enriched their life and how different things are without you. The Stoics understood this principle deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Reflect often on how quickly all things vanish and how many will lament their loss." By stepping back and letting your absence do the talking, you make others realize the value you brought into their world. Here's how to highlight your absence effectively. Let the void speak for itself. When you step back, resist the urge to fill the silence. Allow your absence to linger. If they reach out, respond thoughtfully, but not immediately. The space creates awareness. Withdraw your unique value. Think about what you brought to their life. Was it laughter, support, advice, or excitement? When you're no longer providing that, it leaves a noticeable void that's hard to ignore. Thrive without them. Post about your growth, achievements, or fulfilling experiences without being directed at them. Let them see that your life is flourishing in their absence. It highlights the contrast of what they're missing. Leverage mutual connections. Without directly reaching out, let mutual friends or social circles subtly remind them of you. This creates a ripple effect that keeps you present in their mind without your involvement. Be scarce at key moments. If you were part of their routine, like being available during specific times or events. Your absence during those moments will feel amplified. It creates a stronger sense of longing. Psychologically, highlighting your absence works because it taps into their sense of loss. Instead of forgetting you, they become hyper-aware of the gap your departure has left behind. This makes them question why you're not there and what they need to do to bring you back. But here's the Stoic perspective. Highlighting your absence isn't about punishing someone or creating dependence. It's about teaching them to value your presence. When you step away with purpose, you demonstrate self-respect and the ability to walk away from situations that don't serve you. If this resonates with you, claim your power now. Like this video and comment the phrase, "My absence speaks volumes." Write it, own it, and let it remind you that sometimes the loudest statement you can make is by saying nothing at all. Number 12. Self-focus and growth. The 12th and most important dark psychological trick to make someone miss you is to shift your focus entirely. Stop focusing on them and start focusing on yourself. This isn't just a tactic, it's a transformation. When you prioritize your growth, your passions, and your happiness, you naturally become someone people can't stop thinking about. Why? Because there's nothing more magnetic than someone who knows their worth and lives it unapologetically. Here's the secret. Self-focus isn't about being selfish, it's about reclaiming your energy. When you stop pouring your attention into someone else and channel it into your own growth, you create a sense of independence and self-respect that others can't help but notice. The more you grow, the more valuable you become, not just to them, but to yourself. Psychologically, this works because people are naturally drawn to those who exude confidence, purpose, and fulfillment. When they see you thriving without them, it creates a powerful contrast. They start to wonder what changed, why you're so radiant, and most importantly, why they're no longer part of it. This curiosity and longing are what make them miss you. The Stoics were champions of self-focus and growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Dwell on the beauty of life, watch the stars, and see yourself running with them." This is a reminder to focus on the beauty and potential of your own life rather than dwelling on what others think or do. When you focus on your own growth, you align with your highest self, and that's irresistible. Here's how to practice self-focus and growth. Invest in your passions. Spend time exploring your hobbies, skills, and goals. Whether it's learning something new, advancing in your career, or nurturing your creativity, growth makes you magnetic. Elevate your mindset. Read, learn, and expand your knowledge. When you grow intellectually and emotionally, you naturally attract attention and admiration. Work on your health and well-being. Taking care of your body and mind isn't just for you. It also radiates confidence and vitality. People notice when you glow from within. Create a vision for your life. Focus on your long-term goals and the life you want to build. When they see you moving forward with purpose, they'll realize what they're missing out on. Stay present and grateful. Live fully in the moment and appreciate the life you're building. Gratitude and presence are infectious, and they make your absence even more profound. The beauty of self-focus and growth is that it doesn't just make them miss you. It changes the way you see yourself. You stop needing external validation because your worth becomes rooted in your own progress and happiness. And when you reach that point, people are naturally drawn to you because of the energy you exude. But here's the catch. This trick only works if it's genuine. You're not growing to make them notice. You're growing because you deserve it. And that authenticity is what makes it so powerful. If this resonates with you, let's make it real. Like this video and comment the phrase, "I focus on myself. They notice my growth." Write it, own it, and let it remind you that your greatest power lies in becoming the best version of yourself. You've made it to the final step, and by now you've unlocked something truly transformative. You've learned 12 dark psychological tricks, grounded in the wisdom of Stoicism and the insights of human behavior to make someone miss you. But more importantly, you've discovered the real secret. It's not just about them, it's about you. Think back to everything we've covered: the power of absence, the allure of unpredictability, the impact of creating emotional echoes, and the strength of focusing on your own growth. These aren't just strategies to make someone think about you. They're tools to elevate yourself, to reclaim your power, and to live with purpose. When you embody these principles, you don't just make someone miss you, you become unforgettable. Here's the most important thing to remember. True mastery comes from within. When you stop chasing others and start focusing on your own growth, your energy shifts. You radiate confidence, independence, and self-worth. That's the version of you that people can't stop thinking about, not because you've manipulated them, but because you've risen above. So here's my final challenge to you. Commit to becoming the best version.